Thank you, Governor Huckabee. Congratulations on your nomination. You're going to do a fantastic job, and I'm very happy to see you named for this position. As you know, you're stepping into a role that's not just incredibly important, but it's also incredibly influential. In addition to implementing President Trump's policy, you will oversee what information gets sent back to Washington, D.C. Those assessments get sent to administration officials and members of this committee. Indeed, this committee requires the State Department to submit a range of regular reports and relies on those reports to advance our oversight of the department and American foreign policy. And as you know, you're going to have your work cut out for you. During the Biden administration, such reports were often withheld, and when they were sent, they were systematically politicized to promote the administration's misguided Middle East policy, which boosted America's enemies and punished our allies. Officials in the Trump administration are just beginning to clear the shelves of what was left over. I am holding right now a report produced mostly during the Biden administration. It covers Palestinian Authority incitement of violence against Israelis for the period of February 2023 to May 2024, which includes the aftermath of the October 7th terrorist attacks. It was deliberately withheld from Congress and only sent to this committee this month. It is unclassified, but it hasn't been made public. It is a deeply disturbing example of the challenge you will face and the thinking inside parts of the State Department. This report says that Palestinian President Abbas, quote, President Abbas maintained a public position against incitement of violence and terrorism and reiterated his commitment to nonviolence. He condemned the killing of Israeli civilians by Hamas on October 7th because it had given Israel the pretext to attack Gaza. Let's put aside the disgusting claim that Israel's campaign against Hamas was done on a pretext. The claim that Abbas has not incited violence is staggering. In reality, in relation to October 7th, he and other Palestinian officials blamed Israel and used rhetoric about Palestinian self-defense. A month after the attack, a top Abbas advisor even bragged that the Palestinian Authority had not uttered a single word condemning Hamas. I'd like to ask you, Governor, talk a little bit about your own assessment regarding Palestinian incitement and what that should mean to American foreign policy towards Israel in the region.
Senator, I think the question is very relevant to what's happening right now. The great tragedy is that it's hard to have a peaceful solution that involves a future for the Palestinians when they quench any hope of real democracy for their people. Abbas is now in the 20th year of his 4-year term. As we think about that, one has to ask, how many years does a person get for a 4-year term without an election, without some transfer of power, without empowering the people to speak for themselves? That's part of the real challenge that is faced in the Middle East. With the ongoing doctrine where compensation is given to those who murder Jews, parks and streets are named for those who do it, pensions are given to the families of those who are killed in the line of killing Jews. Senator, that's a difficult pathway to peace. I would further just mention that if, in fact, there is going to be a peaceful direction, we have to accept that something isn't working. And the two-state solution, the notion that everyone's going to live together, toast marshmallows around the campfire, singing Kumbaya, and it's going to happen in our lifetime, is not going to happen if one of the sides doesn't believe the other one has a right to exist and continues to say, from the river to the sea. And so that's why it becomes a challenge. I have every confidence that Secretary Rubio, and especially every confidence that President Trump, wants to see a genuine, long-lasting peace for everyone in the Middle East. And it will be a privilege to serve the President to try to work toward that.
Thank you, Governor. I agree with that. I would note, Mr. Rubenstein, this was not the only report that the Biden administration failed to turn over. I also have a report that I had drafted language requiring the State Department to send this committee a report on, quote, any Iranian person that has attacked a United States citizen using a drone. They sat on that report. We just got that as well. And so I will say, in your role as a legal advisor, you're likewise going to have challenges getting the State Department to comply with the requirements Congress has placed upon them.
Thank you, Senator. And I want to thank you for the introduction. And if I could, for just 15 seconds, I want to thank and be sure you're properly recognized for what you did for the victims of Fort Hood. I spent years on that case. I know more about it, frankly, than anybody would ever want to. It is one of the more shameful episodes in the history of our military, and you led the fight to make it right. And God bless you for what you did. With respect to the reports that you mentioned, again, I'm not in there. I can't tell you exactly what's going in, but I can promise we will take a look at it.
Terrific.
Senator Cruz, I would just say I appreciate you raising those reports. I have not seen them, so I hope you'll share them with the rest of the
We'll
committee.
happily share them with you.
Thank you. Senator Lee.